Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. Now this video is for the summer solstice, 20th of June 2021. Now the summer solstice is an event that takes place once a year, but also you have the winter solstice. So basically let's just quickly go through what the solstice does. Now the winter solstice is obviously in December, and it represents the shortest point of the day for the year. And so from the winter solstice, the energy changes from a yang to a yin energy, and so the energy is rising, so the days gets longer until you reach the summer solstice, where again the energy changes, and so the energy now starts to go down, and so the light shortens and the days get shorter. So that becomes more of a yang energy. So at the peak of the year, the summer solstice also represents the beginning of summer traditionally. And this year, the energy for the summer solstice is fire. And so representing clarity, hot, heat. Also that yin energy, which has been expanding from the winter solstice, comes to its climax, and the summer solstice represents that. And so this year the energy is in fact it is a metal energy, but it's changing for this day to a yang energy, which is a fire energy, a wood energy. And so there is a transition that takes place on the winter solstice between the yin energy and the yang energy. There's an exchange, and so things will start to get gradually shorter and shorter. The days will get shorter, the light will get gradually shorter and become more darker until you get to the winter solstice again, and the whole thing repeats itself. But as the energy is changing, there is a period of time of 9 days before the actual solstices and 9 days after, which is in the Chinese and Japanese period of time frame. It's called Doyu, and this is represented by the earth energy. So earth energy can be represented within our bodies, our stomach, our spleen, our pancreas. And so those organs are more affected by the earth energy as it in that 9-day period before the solstice and after the solstice. So anybody who's suffering with any ailments with the stomach, the pancreas and the spleen may feel some effect. Not all, but some people may feel an effect of that. But this summer solstice is a fire energy. It's a fire energy, so it's going to be intense. It's going to be wanting to bring things out into open. There's a desire to network. There's a desire to reach out. Also to see things more clearly, to have an understanding of what's truly happening in that day and that process of things. So in some ways you get a heads up of what's really happening, and there's an understanding of where things can be moving forward to and things will be going to. And so with this change of energy, it moves into this wood energy, which again corresponds quite nicely with the earth. There is interaction there with the earth and wood there. So, but again, it's interesting as we look at the wider picture of where the fire energy is rested. It's rested within the firehouse, but also in that firehouse there is that one water. Or again, which can also represent the moon. In some ways you could say like the moon is like eclipsing the sun, which is 9 fire can opposite represent the sun. So you can some way saying as one water is in the house of fire of the sun, it sort of eclipses the energy of the sun. So things will maybe become slightly dark and not clear and not always visible at first. And I think that's why you have the 9 fire there, to bring clarity in. Even in the darkest of times, there is going to be some kind of light to shine on the path of where you should be going and how you should be going. And it's, again, as I look at the chart, there's always a correspondence, there's always some kind of relief and help. And again, we see this coming into again in the metal house of 6 metal of the 2 earth is there. So again, it's bringing structure, it's bringing a sense of being able to check and taking responsibility, making those decisions, but also having that support on that day, the highest day, the day of the summer solstice, of fire, clarity, networking. So again, bringing in how the month is, we see that one energy there helping us. Also, in some ways, it's cooling things down with, again, with if there's any fiery situations, and going deep to bring out the things that needs to be seen. So this summer solstice, so I say, summer solstice is a one of clarity, one of networking, being seen and having a clarity of understanding in what you are doing. And it gives you the energy as it comes out of that yin energy of metal and making that transition over from a one of discipline. It's been one of discipline, it's been one of making sure that there's some kind of leadership, but that leadership has been compromised, I say, in the last 6 months or so. And so it has not been the most easiest one. And again, as we move over from that yin energy, so there's that conflict there because the 6 metal is a yang energy. We move over and transition over to this wood energy. There's going to be more of an inspiration, but again, that yang energy is more inward looking, inward self-focusing. So lots of self-examination that will be moving us forward into setting a tone in some ways for the next 6 months or so. But overall, it's going to be one of steady progress in some ways. It's going to be giving you the sense of hope, even though it may be slow moving now, because we're moving into that yang energy, that inward looking energy, that slow energy. And so, but also a sense of being more organized, more deliberate in its progress throughout the rest of the year. So a little snippet there of what's happening again, and also for the 9 days after the summer solstice, there's that period in there when it's that earth energy, as it moves from that earth energy back into a fire energy for the summer months. So good opportunities, but I think there's going to be a lot of inward examination, finding that true sense of inspiration from within yourself, not outside. I think that's going to be the key thing here, is that with that 9 fire energy on the summer solstice there, again, clarity of getting that true sense of where everybody is, where you are really in your actual walk with yourself, and where you are doing what you're actually doing. There's going to be that sense of transition of coming in for a sense of true inner inspiration, taking the reins, making sure you can get things done, and having that sense of you're going to be more organized, and you're going to be moving forward with that sense of purpose, and knowing that things can really move forward with that sense of play. And also, as I look at this, as it moves and transitions over there, that is going to be a sense of organization as we move over to the midsummer organization and into the autumn time. Again, organize, being careful with the finances, but overall it will finish well. But again, that sense of inward introspection, looking where the individual is, or on that organization is moving forward. So a lot to consider and to process. But this is just a very broad scope of what is happening. But summer solstice is that fire energy, clarity, up in the sky, being seen by all, understanding the overview of things, and then coming down and that transition, finding a sense of purpose, individual, inward looking, and then making progress with that. Again, this will obviously change with your own individual chart, so your individual matrix and how things interplay with that. But this just is a broad stroke of what to expect. So I hope this has been of help to you, and until next time, take care now. Bye bye.